You've heard the bullshitters braying about it in the mainstream media. Your YouTube feeds likely caught more clickbait on this subject than review tech could crank out in an eon. The gavel has fallen, the absolute state of Illinois has spoken, and the first recorded instance of fake news has yielded a judgment against the dude who's known only for empire and fucking this. And for all the obfuscation and intervention by the Democratic establishment, from last-minute supplications by Big Mike Obama and shadowy subterfuge by the wine mom in the White House, even a biased Chicago judicial system at last returned a verdict of goddamn guilty. Well, as guilty as a conscience singularity like this Trotskyite titwank can even manage. Either way, it appears the Jussie Smollett saga is in its final act. Or is it?
We continue to watch breaking news. Any minute, actor Jussie Smollett may be released from jail.
He will soon, sometime tonight. Let's go back to Charlie DeMar live outside the jail at 26 and Cal. Charlie.
Smollett's attorneys, they have been busy filing appeals, and today a Court of Appeals judge agreed that Jussie should not serve that 150-day sentence behind bars while the appeals process plays out. The special prosecutor already filed their objection, saying that he's not in solitary confinement and that his health and safety are not at risk.
That's right, friends. No sooner was refined French actor Jussie Smollett sentenced to prison than he got off. Then he was released from prison. Well, jail, actually. Yes, fellas and fallopian Americans, Jussie Smollett's attacker has officially walked free. The reason given, he's formally filed an appeal. Hey, that's cute. R. Kelly, who was tried and convicted by the self-same Chicago injustice system, has to fall to his knees and hand-jive the judge to get a 1-month continuance on his appeal. But one called Kamala, and Jussie's back to setting off our collective cringe reflex on fucking Facebook. And before you point out the disparity in the two men's crimes, come on, they were both convicted of minor infractions. Look, it ain't the severity of the offense that gets my balls tucked up here. As criminal acts go, wasting the time and money of the perma-corrupt Chicago PD is right up there with a jaywalking charge at Toontown. It's the fact that in all the apoplectic coverage of this pop culture calamity, the media diverted 150 fucking miles out of their way to avoid mentioning the name Kamala Harris, not to mention the motive for the crime. And no, it wasn't merely a callous, clawing attempt by an autistic actor to get Jussie Smollett's name in every American mouth. Though I suspect there's some fellas in jail who will be familiar with that sensation in the very near future. Look, there's a purely political component here that was quietly whitewashed from the headlines in the aftermath like a 2 a.m. Chicago bleach bath. And I'm not just talking about his high friends in low places, namely forwarding Kamala's career. Consider the 2019 anti-lynching bill this faux fucking crime directly inspired. Forgot all about that one, didn't you? Don't worry, so did the media by fucking design. For those who never knew to begin with, in the aftermath of Smollett's merciless assault on himself, Senator Spartacus Cory Booker put forward a goddamn gutbuster of an anti-lynching bill as if murder by mob wasn't already fucking illegal. It passed at the speed of sound. After all, it was voted on in the epicenter of white guilt, Washington, D.C.
The use of lynching to inflict racial terror is ugly, disturbing. It is a tragic part of our history, but we know that its legacy does not just live in our history books. Less than 2 weeks ago, an actor, an activist, was brutally attacked in Chicago. 2 men yelling racial and homophobic epithets. Lynching is not a relic of the past. We are seeing in the present its pernicious evil, and we still have yet to confront this in this body.
Thank you, Senator Booker. And happy Valentine's Day to you.
S3178, a bill to amend Title 18, United States Code to specify lynching as a deprivation of civil rights and for other purposes.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection, that will proceed.
Hey, way to grandstand about all the current issues, Mr. Clean. Maybe we can pave the Oregon Trail and regulate the Pony fucking Express next. Then again, you'd be stuck in the 19th century too if that's where your commie politics came from. And as unpredictably as a sunrise, it accomplished precisely dick, save providing an opportunity for vice cop turned vice president Kamala Kankles to bloviate about all she'd accomplished on social media. Quote, "Lynching is a dark, despicable part of our nation's history, and I'm hopeful this measure will swiftly pass the House," she shrilled on Twitter. The connection to Kamala, you inquire? Simple. Jussie Smollett was one of the most vocal advocates in Kamala's campaign for fucking president. You remember the campaign where she failed to last a solitary primary vote? In short, in a campaign with a dearth of prominent allies, Jussie Smollett was one of the few, the fucking few anyway. Think of it from Jussie's standpoint. You're in your late 30s, rounding the corner on fucking 40, the age at which every male actor who hasn't already been cast as James Bond is slowly transitioning to a grandpa role on the CW. Worse still, you're only known for Empire and a microscopic role in Alien Covenant. You're hooked by the hip to this wine cooler swilling hag bag. She needs a prominent political accomplishment to usher her into the Oval Orifice in a racially contentious cycle, and who knows? Perhaps you parlay that into a ceremonial position for yourself. And before any of you chortle at that idea, remember Obama ushering Harold and fucking Kumar into his cabinet? Anything's possible if you chomp on the right chode. Just ask Willie Brown. Emboldening our boy even further, Kamala and Corey were similarly successful 1 year previously, getting Title 18 amended to include lynching as a federal fucking crime. Remind me again, who was campaigning with Kamala as early as 2018? Oh, that's right, the finest midnight subway spokesman, Jussie fucking Smollett. Beginning to see the hamster wheels and the simpleton skull spinning before your very eyes? At worst, he thinks it's a light sentence. For fuck's sake, the judge gave him the absolute maximum, and even that amounted to all of 150 fucking days. At best, he figures Kamala puts you on a pedestal, pushes her political agenda through, and sails to the presidency on the back of your bullshit story. Didn't exactly pan out on either account, but folks, make not a solitary fucking mistake here. If Jussie Smollett had been even marginally competent at planning or prevarication, we'd be on week fucking 50 of the HBO docuseries about this fictitious fucking crime, Matthew Shepard style. Angela Bassett would be slurring her way through the first female president's inauguration biopic, and Kamala'd be knocking back box wine from the big chair. That was the plan. The propaganda was already prepared and in place, only incompetence fucking forestalled it. What's that, Jussie? You were headed to Subway at 2 a.m. in a blizzard and were accosted by two red hat bedecked Trump supporters in downtown Chicago, a town that's blacker than Dennis Leary's lungs. Then he threw a noose and a cup of bleach he just happened to have tucked away on his person for a rainy day, and he left you and your career for dead. Well, shit, George. Tell me again about the rabbits. I haven't seen strategic acumen like this since I played Risk with Saddam Hussein. The next time someone tells a Smollett joke, correct the cunt. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is the Kamala case from here on in, which kind of casts this comment in a different light, don't it?
I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that.
You know, I wouldn't worry about it, Jussie. Given how efficiently you flambéed your fucking career, I doubt a case of Clinton-side is in order. I mean, if you watched the last Alien flick, I've seen better film on stovetop pudding. And seeing how obviously the fix is in on your inevitable appeal, I have a feeling the only way you'll be approaching a bench is if we turn it upside down first. I'm Razor Fist, I'm not suicidal, and God fucking speed.
What do you feel people need to hear the most from this story?
I think that what people need to hear is just the truth.